So in this clip, we are going to see the former Transport Secretary Pete Buttigieg wipe the floor with an arrogant pro-Trump, pro-MAGA CNBC host. As usual, let's watch the clip in full. I'm going to hold my commentary, my perspective, and my thoughts towards the end. Let's not waste any time. Let's get into it.
Start with just the prospect of the war to begin with.
Yeah.
Look, the argument that he started this because he wanted to, there are plenty of people who think there was a very real threat of nuclear. It was presented through intelligence. Israel had an opportunity to really take and strike at this point. And as for diplomacy, that was sunsetting anyway. Anything.
Well, it wasn't sunsetting. It was detonated by the first Trump administration.
It was not yet, but it was going to sunset if it hadn't already.
They were lying about everything.
Right. The idea of they had much longer range missiles than they ever admitted
compliance
to.
Problems,
we've seen all of that
sure.
play out.
But the point is, they had been stopped from getting anywhere near a nuclear weapon. And last year, the president assured us that he ended their nuclear ambitions. If he wants to come clean with the American people that he failed to do that, then he has to say that before he launches a war.
Democrats at that time said, no, you haven't. And then you haven't.
Clearly he hadn't.
Yeah.
Clearly that he hadn't. So then we needed to go back and take care of it, unless you really think it's okay for Iran to have a nuclear weapon.
But again, they don't have a nuclear weapon. They weren't about to get a nuclear weapon.
Why do you keep saying they weren't about to go? Steve Witkoff said they had enough fissible material for 11 bombs.
So are you acknowledging the president lied when he said that their program was obliterated?
No one knew what happened at Fordo.
Either he didn't know or he was lying.
Okay.
Which is it?
Is that really the point? Whether or not
the point isn't my neighbors in Michigan are paying more for gas.
Whether or not he knew it was obliterated or not is not the point. If it wasn't obliterated, then you have to do something. You can't go back and say, well, you lied about this,
Joe,
so that we can't actually do what we need to do.
Joe, America is weaker because the president launched this war.
That's your opinion. That's not.
No, but it's clear, and I'll tell you why. Because
we had
when
the
Trump,
Secretary of NATO say the world is a safer place. He just said that yesterday.
His job is to butter up the president. But why do you think the president chickened out on his demand? Why do you think the president backed off of his demand? The president said
backed off of which demand?
Unconditional surrender. Right now, instead of unconditional surrender, which was the president's demand just 1 month.
This is not over yet, number one.
Is this unconditional surrender?
I don't know what it's going to end up being.
I'll tell you what we've got.
If the Strait reopens again and they have no Navy.
So the best case scenario is the Strait being open. The Strait was open before he started this.
Yeah,
and
but they were close to having a nuclear weapon. 11 nuclear weapons.
We had other ways of dealing with that.
Like what? Obama's way?
That worked.
That did not work.
Did they get a nuclear weapon under Obama? They
were close enough within months.
No. And the president, again, assured us the whole point of bombing them last year was to, quote unquote, obliterate the nuclear program.
I understand that.
And look, I'm saying this as somebody who knows what it's like to be sent to war by a U.S. president. And when a president sends you to war, when you and your buddies are on that gray tail plane going into a war zone, you do it with some level of confidence, some level of assurance that your chain of command, all the president of the United States would not do this if they didn't have a choice.
Now that we're there, do you hope this has a successful outcome? There were 40,000 Iranians that were slaughtered by the same regime. 47 years of killing Americans, stirring trouble all around the world.
And how do you feel about that regime being left intact by this president?
I don't know if that's going to be the case, and I don't know what might happen.
Is that an argument?
So you don't want this to work, and it was just a bad move? You want us to pull out now?
Well, look, there's no obvious way out now, but I want to make sure that this ends in a way that, first of all, our economy can recover, that we're not paying so much for gas. I mean, right now, oil's $100, jet fuel's $200, gas is over $4, diesel's like $5.50.
You averaged $3.80 under Biden for 4 years.
Yeah, and when we left, inflation was lower than it is today.
You accounted for 21.5% price increase.
This president took the inflation rate up. This president took the inflation rate up. It's more than 3% year on year. You saw the numbers just come out. It's more than 3% year on year.
Okay.
Isn't it?
PCE,
core mistaken?
It is. The math is direct.
Yeah.
The math is the math.
Look, it
fluctuates each month from 2.7 to 3%.
It's higher than when he got here,
It's
Joe.
not 9%.
His central campaign promise was he was going to take inflation and drive it down, and instead he took inflation and it's up.
I thought the Fed,
it was 3 when he got here, and now it's more. It could not be simpler than that.
It's around 3, and we're involved in a war.
He said on day one it would go down. He came in on day one, and now it's up.
It's up to 3%. It was 21.5% price increases
it would go
over
down
4 years. Over 4 years, it was 21.5%.
He promised it would go down.
Democrats own the affordability crisis.
Listen to me.
Period.
Why did the president fail to keep his promise?
You don't think Democrats own the affordability crisis?
Why did the president fail to keep his promise to lower prices, in your opinion?
I'm laughing because this piece of it is basic. The president did say that he wanted to be in office to bring inflation down, and he has not brought inflation down. That's all.
He drove it up. He not only failed, he drove it up.
Mr. Secretary, let's talk
Tariffs
a little bit.
have had a minimal effect.
You tell a family where I live that $1,000 per household is minimal.
From the 21.5% increase that the Democrats.
No, we can argue all day about just how bad COVID was and how bad it got and what it took to come back from that. But you call it $1,000. Where I live, $1,000 per household isn't minimal.
Now Democrats found religion on inflation. After presiding over the worst inflation in 40 years, now you found religion.
It's 2026. They're in charge. You guys are in charge.
I'm aware of that.
What are you going to do differently?
Look,
what are you going to do differently to make the prices actually go down like you promised a year ago?
Number one, we got to get through this war, and you've heard people.
We got to get through this war. We didn't have to be fighting this war. What are we doing?
That's a matter of opinion. You can't say that.
It's a matter of opinion that I share with most Americans and a large number of Republicans and a whole bunch of MAGA people who bought into this president because they actually believed in what he said he would get us into the war.
75% Republican approval for the war.
You don't start with the approval you have within your own party. But the point is, the MAGA coalition.
Democrats aren't going to approve of anything.
I'm talking about Americans. Americans disapprove of the president and their right to do so.
He's got the same approval rating other presidents have had at this point in the term, a little bit above, 42%.
This president right now is unpopular for very good reasons. One of which
he's
is
no
that
more
he's made
unpopular
life
than
more
Obama
expensive.
was or Biden was at the same at the same point of his presidency.
That depends on which polls you're looking at, but by and large, no. I'm sorry, but I've been out on the trail. I was in Marjorie Taylor Greene's district. Marjorie Taylor Greene. This is a Trump plus 38 district, or it was.
I know
we had
the numbers.
500 people.
You'll get a chance to prove that in November this year.
Okay. We had a chance to prove it last week.
The Senate might go. I understand.
Yeah, because people are
presidents make difficult decisions, obviously.
Yeah, but usually they make difficult decisions to try to make other people better off. This president's made decisions to make himself better off. That's definitely happened. If you're the kind of person who can pay $1 million for the entry fee to Mar-a-Lago, then you're doing great. But everybody else is hurting right now.
Mr. Secretary, let's talk about a few things that fell under your.
So, this is what I need to ask first and foremost. Joe, the host that you saw Pete Buttigieg going back and forth with, is he okay with the fact that Trump lied? Because this is the problem with pro-MAGA. This is the problem with them. They know that Donald Trump is a liar. They know that the majority of things that will come out of his mouth is probably going to be a lie. But they will try and act like, oh, it's okay that he lies because, he's doing it for the greater good. BS. Absolute BS. He lied because he didn't believe that his followers would think anything different. That's the reason. And then even in the back of his mind, even if they do think any different, who gives a damn? They're a part of my cult. I can say and do whatever I want, and there's nothing they can do about it. That's what he thinks, and that's what he believes. Listen, the fact that it is that he tried to say that Barack Obama's deal from 2016 with Iran wasn't working, it's just a flat-out lie. And this is what I say is the problem in the West. Anybody can go on the news, and they can tell a lie, knowingly that it's a lie, and it will go completely unchecked. If you go and you do the research and you take a look at actual experts who know in depth about the deal that it is that Barack Obama brokered with Iran, you will see and hear that they will tell you, number one, it was working. Number two, Iran was following it. And then number three, the only reason as to why Iran have been emboldened since then is because in 2018, Donald Trump came in and he ripped up the agreement. That's the reality. Now, talking about, inflation under Joe Biden, well, let's not forget what Joe Biden was dealing with. He was dealing with the pandemic. And this is the thing you have to understand. Inflation wasn't just up in the United States. Inflation was up all around the world. And if you actually take a look at the research and the data, Joe Biden actually helped recover the United States faster, quicker, and better than a lot of other countries all around the world. So this is the reason why when you see people like this Joe from CNBC that are pro-MAGA, pro-Donald Trump, and they will just sit there and they will just tell lies upon lies because of the fact they're not used to pushback. But Pete Buttigieg absolutely schooled this clown and left him completely stunned. Let me know your guys' thoughts on this exchange. I wanted to do this video because I watched it multiple times and I thought it was an absolute masterclass by Pete Buttigieg. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. And do me a favor, hype the video up, give the video a thumbs up, and hit subscribe if you're interested in a Brit's perspective on all things to do with American politics. I appreciate you guys, and I will see you guys in the next clip.